Robert Kiyosaki's book Rich Dad Poor Dad tells the story of the author's two fathers, his biological father, an intelligent and dedicated worker, and the father of his best friend, a successful businessman and investor. The book contrasts their different mindsets and approaches to money and wealth. Chapter 1: The Rich Don't Work for Money. In this chapter, the author shares his story of how he learned his first lesson from his rich dad when he was 9 years old. He and his friend Mike wanted to learn how to become rich, so they asked Mike's father for advice. He agreed to teach them, but only if they would work for him for 10 cents an hour at his convenience store. While the boys initially agreed, they soon realized that they were not actually learning anything about money. They felt exploited and decided to quit. When they told Mike's father, he revealed that it was part of his lesson. He wanted them to experience how most people work for money and let their emotions of fear and greed control them. He explained that the rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. He then offered them another deal. He would pay them nothing, but he would teach them how to become financially intelligent. He said that financial intelligence is not about how much money you make, but how much money you keep and how hard it works for you. He also said that there are two types of income: earned income and passive income. Earned income is what you get from working for someone else or for yourself. Passive income is what you get from owning assets that generate cash flow without your active involvement, such as businesses, stocks, bonds, real estate, royalties, etc. He advised the boys to focus on building assets that produce passive income rather than working for earned income. He said that this way, they could achieve financial freedom and not depend on a job or a pension. He also warned them about the pitfalls of taxes and debt, which eat away at earned income but can be minimized or avoided with passive income. He then challenged the boys to find opportunities to make money without working for it. He said that opportunities are everywhere, but most people are too busy or too afraid to see them. He encouraged them to use their creativity and imagination to solve problems and create value for others. The boys accepted the challenge and started looking for ways to make money. They eventually came up with an idea of creating comic books from old magazines and renting them out to other kids. They made a profit of $9.50 in 3 days, which was more than they earned in 3 weeks working at the store. The chapter ends with the author reflecting on how this experience changed his perspective on money and wealth. He realized that he had a choice. He could either work hard for money like his poor dad, or he could learn how to make money work hard for him like his rich dad. Chapter 2: Why Teach Financial Literacy. In this chapter, the author explains the importance of financial literacy and how it can help you achieve financial freedom. He defines financial literacy as the ability to read and understand financial statements, such as income statements and balance sheets. He says that these statements are like mirrors that reflect your financial health and habits. He also introduces the concept of the cash flow quadrant, which is a diagram that shows 4 ways of generating income. E. Employee: you work for someone else and earn a salary or wage. S. Self-employed: you work for yourself and earn fees or commissions. B. Business owner: you own a system that works for you and generates income. I. Investor: you invest money in assets that produce cash flow. He says that most people are stuck in the E or S quadrant, where they trade their time for money and pay high taxes. He says that the rich are in the B or I quadrant, where they leverage other people's time and money and pay low taxes. He says that the key to becoming rich is to move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side. He also explains the difference between an asset and a liability. He defines an asset as something that puts money in your pocket, and a liability as something that takes money out of your pocket. He says that most people think that their house, car, or jewelry are assets, but they are actually liabilities because they cost money to maintain and depreciate over time. He says that the main reason why people struggle financially is because they don't know the difference between an asset and a liability. He says that financial literacy is not taught in schools or at home, so most people learn by trial and error or by following conventional wisdom. He says that financial literacy is essential to build wealth and achieve financial freedom. Chapter 3: Mind Your Own Business. In this chapter, the author emphasizes the importance of minding your own business, which means building and keeping your asset column strong. He defines an asset as something that puts money in your pocket, whether you work or not. He says that most people confuse their profession with their business, and they spend their entire lives working for someone else's business and making them rich. He says that the key to financial freedom is to mind your own business and keep your expenses low, reduce your liabilities, and diligently build a base of solid assets. He says that you should keep your daytime job, but use your spare time and money to invest in assets that you love and care for. He says that you should also increase your financial literacy by learning about accounting, cash management, investing, and entrepreneurship. He says that by minding your own business and building your asset column, you will be able to survive in times of financial crisis and uncertainty. He says that many people who lost their jobs during downsizing realized that their so-called assets were actually liabilities that were eating them alive. He says that without job security, they had nothing to fall back on. He says that by minding your own business and building your asset column, you will also be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor and live a rich life. He says that he and his wife were able to retire early and travel the world because of their passive income from their assets. He says that they were able to achieve their dreams and goals because they minded their own business. Chapter 4. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. In this chapter, the author reveals how the rich avoid taxes legally by using corporations. He explains the history of taxes and how they were originally imposed only on the rich to fund wars and public services. However, over time, the tax system became more complex and unfair, and the rich found ways to manipulate it to their advantage. He says that the rich use corporations as legal entities that separate them from their businesses. He says that corporations have many benefits, such as they protect the owners from personal liability in case of lawsuits or debts. They allow the owners to pay themselves salaries and dividends that are taxed at lower rates than ordinary income. They enable the owners to deduct expenses such as travel, entertainment, education, healthcare, etc. from their taxable income. They provide the owners with access to legal loopholes and tax havens that reduce or eliminate their tax obligation. He contrasts this with how the poor and middle class pay taxes. He says that they pay taxes in 4 ways. Income tax. This is the tax on their earned income from wages or salaries. This is the highest tax rate and it increases as their income increases. Social Security tax. This is the tax that funds the retirement and disability benefits for workers. This is a flat tax rate that applies to a certain amount of income. Sales tax. This is the tax on goods and services that they buy. This is a regressive tax that affects the poor and middle class more than the rich. Property tax. This is the tax on their real estate and personal property. This is a recurring tax that can increase over time. He says that by paying taxes in these 4 ways, the poor and middle class end up losing a large portion of their income and wealth. He says that they also have less control over their money and are subject to the whims of politicians and bureaucrats. He says that the key to financial freedom is to learn how to use corporations to your advantage and reduce your taxes legally. He says that you also need to develop your financial intelligence by mastering 4 business skills. Accounting. This is the ability to read and understand financial statements, such as income statements and balance sheets. This helps you measure your financial health and performance. Investing. This is the ability to make money work for you by finding profitable opportunities and managing risks. This helps you grow your wealth and passive income. Understanding markets. This is the ability to understand the forces of supply and demand that affect prices and values. This helps you identify trends and cycles and take advantage of them. Law. This is the ability to use legal structures and strategies to protect your assets and minimize your taxes. This helps you keep more of what you earn and avoid lawsuits and audits. Chapter 5. The Rich Invent Money. In this chapter, the author explains how the rich invent money by creating opportunities and value out of thin air. He says that the rich use their financial intelligence and creativity to spot problems and solve them for a profit. He says that the poor and middle class wait for opportunities to come to them, while the rich create their own opportunities. He shares his story of how he and his wife Kim started their first business with a $5,000 investment and turned it into a $50 million company in less than 10 years. He says that they did not have any formal business education or experience, but they had a strong desire to learn and succeed. He says that they learned by trial and error, by seeking mentors and advisors, and by reading books and attending seminars. He says that one of the most important skills they learned was how to raise money from other people. He says that most people think that they need money to make money, but that is not true. He says that money is just an idea, and that you can use other people's money to finance your ideas. He says that there are many sources of money, such as banks, investors, partners, customers, suppliers, etc. He also shares his story of how he made $40,000 in 4 hours by buying a piece of real estate below market value and selling it at a higher price. He says that he did not use any of his own money or credit to do this deal. He says that he used his financial intelligence and negotiation skills to find a motivated seller, a willing buyer, and a cooperative broker. He says that he created value by bridging the gap between supply and demand. He says that the rich invent money by being able to see what others cannot see. He says that they have a vision of the future and act on it before it becomes obvious to everyone else. He says that they are not afraid to take calculated risks and learn from their mistakes. He says that they are always looking for ways to improve themselves and their businesses. He says that the key to inventing money is to develop your financial genius by increasing your financial IQ. He says that your financial IQ is made up of 4 components. Accounting. This is the ability to read and understand numbers and financial statements. Investing. This is the ability to make money work for you by finding profitable opportunities and managing risks. Understanding markets. This is the ability to understand the forces of supply and demand that affect prices and values. Law. This is the ability to use legal structures and strategies to protect your assets and minimize your taxes. He says that by developing these 4 skills, you will be able to invent money and achieve financial freedom. Chapter 6. Work to learn, don't work for money. In this chapter, the author advises how to work to learn instead of working for money. He says that most people work for money and security, but they don't learn anything new or valuable. He says that they get stuck in the rat race and become slaves to their jobs and bills. He says that the rich work to learn and acquire skills that can make them more money and give them more freedom. He says that they don't work for a paycheck or a pension, but for knowledge and experience. He says that they are always looking for ways to improve themselves and their businesses. He says that he also sought mentors and advisors who could teach him what he needed to know. He says that one of the most important skills he learned was sales and marketing. He says that sales and marketing are essential for any business or profession, because they are about communicating and persuading others. He says that sales and marketing are also about overcoming fear and rejection, which are common obstacles for success. He says that the key to working to learn is to have a long-term vision and a short-term focus. He says that you should have a clear idea of what you want to achieve in the future, but also be flexible and adaptable in the present. He says that you should be willing to take risks and make mistakes, but also learn from them and move on. He says that by working to learn instead of working for money, you will be able to increase your income and wealth exponentially. He says that you will be able to create your own destiny and not depend on anyone else. Chapter 7. Overcoming obstacles. In this chapter, the author identifies and explains the 5 main obstacles that prevent most people from achieving financial freedom. He also provides some tips and strategies on how to overcome them. The 5 obstacles are: fear. This is the emotion that paralyzes people from taking action and making changes. It is often caused by the fear of losing money, failing, or being rejected. The author says that fear can be overcome by facing it and learning from it. He says that failure is part of the process of success and that it can teach valuable lessons. He also says that fear can be used as a motivator to work harder and smarter. Cynicism. This is the attitude that doubts and criticizes everything and everyone. It is often caused by insecurity, ignorance, or arrogance. The author says that cynicism can be overcome by doing your own research and forming your own opinion. He says that cynics often miss out on opportunities because they are too busy finding faults and problems. He also says that cynicism can be avoided by surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people. Laziness. This is the lack of motivation and action to pursue your goals and dreams. It is often caused by complacency, boredom, or fear. The author says that laziness can be overcome by having a little greed. He says that greed is not necessarily bad, but it can be a powerful force to drive you to achieve more. He says that greed can be used to fuel your passion and desire for something better. He also says that laziness can be cured by setting clear and realistic goals and rewarding yourself for achieving them. Bad habits. These are the behaviors and patterns that sabotage your progress and success. They are often caused by poor discipline, low self-esteem, or lack of awareness. The author says that bad habits can be overcome by replacing them with good habits. He says that good habits are the ones that help you build your asset column and increase your cash flow. He says that good habits can be developed by practicing them consistently and persistently until they become automatic. Arrogance. This is the overconfidence and pride that make you think you know everything and don't need to learn anything new. It is often caused by ego, ignorance, or insecurity. The author says that arrogance can be overcome by admitting what you don't know and being willing to learn from others. He says that arrogance can cost you money and opportunities because it blinds you from reality and makes you vulnerable to mistakes. He also says that arrogance can be prevented by being humble and curious. The author says that by overcoming these 5 obstacles, you will be able to unleash your financial genius and achieve financial freedom. He says that you will also be able to enjoy the process of learning and growing as a person and as an investor. Chapter 8. Getting Started. In this chapter, the author gives some practical tips and steps on how to get started on your journey to financial freedom. He says that the most important thing is to have a strong reason or purpose for wanting to be rich. He says that this will motivate you to overcome the obstacles and challenges that you will face along the way. He also says that you need to make a choice between being secure or being free. He then outlines his 10-step process for getting started, which are: find a reason greater than reality. This is your why, your vision, your dream. It should be something that inspires you and drives you to take action. Make daily choices. This is about choosing what you do with your time, money, and energy. It is about choosing to learn and grow instead of being complacent and stagnant. Choose friends carefully. This is about surrounding yourself with people who support your goals and dreams, and who can teach you something new. It is also about avoiding negative and cynical people who drag you down. Master a formula and then learn a new one. This is about learning how to make money in different ways and in different markets. It is about being adaptable and flexible in changing circumstances. Pay yourself first. This is about building your asset column by investing in income-generating assets before paying your bills and expenses. It is also about using pressure and creativity to find solutions to your financial problems. Pay your brokers well. This is about finding and rewarding experts who can help you achieve your goals. It is also about being generous and grateful for their services and advice. Be an Indian giver. This is about using leverage and other people's money to finance your deals. It is also about giving back and sharing your wealth with others. Use assets to buy luxuries. This is about delaying gratification and buying luxuries only after you have enough assets to pay for them. It is also about living below your means and not getting into consumer debt. Choose heroes. This is about finding role models and mentors who inspire you and challenge you. It is also about learning from their successes and failures. Teach and you shall receive. This is about sharing your knowledge and experience with others who want to learn. It is also about being humble and open-minded. The author says that by following these 10 steps, you will be able to get started on your path to financial freedom. He says that it will not be easy or fast, but it will be worth it. He says that you will be able to create your own destiny and live a rich life. Chapter 9. Still want more? Here are some to-dos. In this chapter, the author gives some additional tips and suggestions on how to increase your financial IQ and achieve your financial goals. He says that the most important thing is to take action and learn by doing. He says that you need to be willing to make mistakes and learn from them. He also says that you need to be persistent and consistent in your efforts. He then lists some of the things that you can do to improve your financial situation, such as stop doing what is not working and look for something new. This is about being honest with yourself and evaluating your results. It is also about being open-minded and curious about new opportunities and ideas. Look for new ideas. This is about expanding your knowledge and perspective by reading books, attending seminars, taking courses, etc. It is also about finding mentors and role models who can inspire you and teach you. Find someone who has done what you want to do. This is about seeking guidance and advice from people who have achieved what you want to achieve. It is also about networking and building relationships with people who can help you or partner with you. Take classes, read, and attend seminars. This is about continuing your education and learning new skills and strategies. It is also about staying updated and informed about the market and the trends. Make lots of offers. This is about being proactive and aggressive in finding deals and opportunities. It is also about negotiating and making counteroffers until you reach a win-win situation. Jog, walk, or drive a certain area once a month for 10 minutes. This is about observing and analyzing a potential market or area that you are interested in investing in. It is also about noticing changes and opportunities that others might miss. Shop for bargains in all markets. This is about finding value and buying low. It is also about being patient and disciplined in waiting for the right price and time to buy or sell. Look in the right places. This is about knowing where to find the best deals and sources of money. It is also about being creative and resourceful in using different methods and channels. Look for people who want to buy first. Then look for someone who wants to sell. This is about creating value and solving problems. It is also about finding a demand before finding a supply. Think big. This is about having a vision and a goal that motivates you and challenges you. It is also about being ambitious and confident in your abilities. Learn from history. This is about studying the past successes and failures of others and yourself. It is also about learning from the present trends and cycles. The author says that by doing these things, you will be able to increase your financial IQ and achieve your financial goals. He says that it will not be easy or fast, but it will be rewarding and fulfilling. He says that you will be able to create your own destiny and live a rich life. Chapter 10. Final Thoughts. In this chapter, the author concludes his book by sharing some final thoughts and insights on how to achieve financial freedom. He says that the most important thing is to have a strong desire and a clear purpose for wanting to be rich. He says that this will help you overcome the fear and doubt that may hold you back. He also says that you need to have a positive attitude and a growth mindset. He says that you need to believe in yourself and your potential. He says that you need to be willing to learn from others and from your own experiences. He says that you need to be open-minded and curious about new ideas and opportunities. He also says that you need to take action and learn by doing. He says that you need to be proactive and aggressive in finding deals and making money. He says that you need to be creative and resourceful in using different methods and strategies. He says that you need to be adaptable and flexible in changing circumstances. He also says that you need to have a long-term vision and a short-term focus. He says that you need to have a clear goal and a plan to achieve it. He says that you need to be patient and disciplined in following your plan. He says that you need to be persistent and consistent in your efforts. He also says that you need to have fun and enjoy the process of learning and growing. He says that you need to have passion and enthusiasm for what you do. He says that you need to have gratitude and generosity for what you have. He says that you need to have balance and harmony in your life. The author says that by following these principles, you will be able to achieve financial freedom and live a rich life. He says that it will not be easy or fast, but it will be rewarding and fulfilling. He says that you will be able to create your own destiny and make a positive difference in the world.